Europe is shaking tonight. From Brussels to Berlin to Paris, every capital feels the tremor. The European Union is entering one of its most uncertain weeks in years, and it all starts with one name, Ursula von der Leyen. If you're new here, I'm Andrew Meatrich. I used to work inside one of the biggest media outlets in Europe, watched how stories were twisted to fit a narrative, and I walked away. Now I'm independent, I speak freely, and I tell you what really matters. If you value that independence, hit that like button, subscribe, and consider becoming a channel sponsor. It keeps me free to tell the truth that others soften or skip. So, what's happening? This Thursday, October 9th, the European Parliament will vote on not one but two motions of no confidence against Ursula von der Leyen and her entire Commission. Experts are already warning to actually remove the Commission, 2/3 of all MEPs must vote yes. That's at least 360 votes, almost impossible. But the numbers aren't the point. The message is, even if she survives, the scale of discontent will be exposed for everyone to see. The right-wing Patriots for Europe might support a motion raised by the left, but the left may not return the favor. Division runs deep, and that division may be the real story. Not who wins, but how many now want Ursula gone. Stay with me, because what happened next in Germany shocked the entire nation. In the German town of Herdecke, a story broke that left people speechless. Iris Stalzer, the newly elected 50-year-old mayor from the Social Democratic Party, was found by her son in critical condition with severe knife wounds. Before losing consciousness, she told police she had been attacked by several men on the street. Doctors are now fighting for her life. Police launched an emergency manhunt, considering all possible motives, even political. The investigation has been handed to the Department for Major Violent Crimes. And here's the chilling detail. It happened just 10 days after her election victory. When I read this, it hit hard, because trust in local leadership, the sense of safety in small towns, that's what holds a democracy together. When violence enters politics, it's not just one person who suffers, it's the entire social fabric. We hope she survives, and that those responsible face justice. But as the country processes this shock, the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz dropped another bombshell, one that affects every citizen's wallet. Before I tell you what he said, if you appreciate hearing the raw truth behind Europe's headlines, don't forget to subscribe. That single click tells the algorithm that independent voices like ours matter. Now, let's talk about Merz. Merz warned Germans bluntly, real incomes will decline in the coming years. He said citizens will have to spend more and more of what they earn on social needs, pensions, healthcare, elderly care, because the population is aging and costs are exploding. Germany's healthcare system already faces multi-billion euro deficits, and by next year the shortfall could reach 4 billion more. The government is now openly discussing higher social contributions and even partial removal of existing benefits. Merz proposed overhauling the pension system, not a fixed retirement age of 67, but one based on working years. Someone who started at 17 and worked 50 years, he said, shouldn't retire at the same age as someone who began at 30. He also called for partial private savings accounts and tax-free work for pensioners up to €2,000 a month. Sounds reasonable, right? But Germans aren't buying it. His approval ratings just hit a historic low. 71% of citizens now disapprove of his leadership. Only 26% still support him. Among left-wing voters, it's almost 90% disapproval, and among the right-wing AfD, 97%. Speaking of the AfD, their rise continues. They're polling at 26%, first place nationwide, while Merz's CDU trails at 24%. The left-wing party has climbed to 12%, tying the Greens, and the once dominant Social Democrats barely 13%. Germany's political center is collapsing, and it's not just Berlin. Look at Paris. France is now in its own political meltdown. A new poll shows most French citizens blame President Emmanuel Macron personally for the crisis following the resignation of Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu. And in a move few saw coming, even former Prime Minister Édouard Philippe has joined the calls for Macron to step down before his term ends. Tomorrow, the far-left party La France Insoumise plans to start a formal impeachment procedure against Macron. Experts say he has only three options: appoint a new prime minister, call early elections, or resign. The last one, highly unlikely. But analysts agree that compromise is almost impossible in today's climate. Macron, they say, is cornered. And to make matters worse, France is now blocking a key EU measure, the planned ban on importing liquefied natural gas from Russia by 2028. Paris argues the proposal is unrealistic and economically harmful. In plain English, France is still buying Russian gas and doesn't want Brussels forcing its hand. That's not unity. That's survival mode. And France isn't the only one rebelling against Brussels these days. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has openly declared he opposes adopting the euro, calling the EU a structure in decline. According to Orbán, unless radical reforms happen soon, the European Union will simply fall apart and fade into history. Meanwhile, Polish economists are warning that Central and Eastern Europe face serious headwinds: population decline, low birth rates, aging societies, shrinking workforces. It's a slow-motion demographic time bomb. Fewer workers, heavier pension burdens, slower economies. And when Europe slows, the political extremes thrive. That's the pattern we've seen again and again. All of this paints a continent losing confidence in itself. Brussels is isolated. Berlin is unpopular. Paris is divided. Warsaw is worried. Budapest is defiant. And across the ocean, the United States is wrestling with its own chaos. Which brings us to the final part of tonight's picture. What's happening in America right now could reshape the entire Western alliance. In the US, confrontation between President Donald Trump and Democratic-led states just hit a new level. Authorities in Illinois have filed a lawsuit to block Trump from deploying National Guard troops to Chicago. The White House argues the city is out of control due to crime and illegal migration. State officials say federal intervention would only make things worse. Trump fired back, threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807 if the courts stop him. He accused Democrats of letting their cities fall into chaos and said he's ready to act with or without permission. At the same time, the US Senate failed yet again, for the fifth time, to pass a short-term funding bill. The government remains stuck in deadlock, divisions deepening by the day. So let's sum this up. In Europe, Ursula faces rebellion, Germany faces pain, France faces paralysis, Hungary defies Brussels, Poland warns of decline, and in America, a constitutional standoff brews. Different countries, same disease, power losing touch with people. If you believe stories like these need honest voices and not corporate scripts, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and share this video with someone who still believes Europe is stable. I've been doing this for years, not because it's easy, but because someone has to. I chose truth over obedience, and I'll keep digging into the facts others avoid. If you value clarity over noise, stick around. We've got more to talk about. Subscribe and hit like, because it really helps this channel grow and reach more people who care about the truth. Let me finish with my deepest gratitude goes to our sponsors. You are far more than supporters. You are the very lifeline of this channel. Without you, these stories wouldn't be told, this voice wouldn't be heard, and the pursuit of truth would fade into silence. Because of your faith in independent journalism, I can stand here and speak openly, without compromise and without fear. And to everyone watching, you matter just as much. Each time you subscribe, each like you give, each comment you leave, you strengthen this mission and send a clear message that real voices cannot be silenced. Hitting that subscribe button is not just a click, it's a commitment to standing with something bigger. Adding your comment is not just feedback, it's proof that truth still resonates and that people refuse to turn away. So take a moment now, subscribe, press like, and share your thoughts below. Help us keep this channel alive, growing, and impossible to ignore. Together we become stronger, louder, and unstoppable.